CME market gaps never matter until they do. Double tops never matter until they're confirmed. IBIT having some struggles. Nvidia, AMD, all getting hit. And we got Bitcoin dominance sitting at 60. Welcome back, Crypto Crew. It's your boy Tommy. I'm bringing you the hottest in Bitcoin and crypto action. If you like what you see, make sure you give us a like. Make sure you hit subscribe if you have not already. And make sure you come on over to X and follow us on X, where we talk about Bitcoin, crypto all day, every day, because we are crypto maniacs. All right, let's get right into it. I'm bringing this up right now. The CME market gap, they don't matter until they do. But the 97,000 and the 92.4 were like open wounds on the chart, and liquidity loves gravity, and they love to fill those zones. Now, it could be the retest that clears the board for the next leg up, because we'll have the same fear, the same setup, but it also could be the warning that the double top is confirmed with the break of 90,000, saying that the bears were right, and good old Tom is going to have to sing. He's going to have to sing. And you know what I'm going to sing? I'm actually going to sing a song by a famous trader, Ed Sakota, and I'll sing What You're Gonna Do When the Drawdown Comes. If you don't know who Ed Sakota is, you gotta check him out. He's awesome. He also plays the banjo. Funny guy. Believe me, if I sing that thing, you're gonna want to just cover the cat and dog's ears. All right. So anyway, let's break it all down. Enough messing around. Okay. So the only question I have for you is, if we do return to these levels, are you gonna be prepared for it? You're gonna have to be prepared. Now, that we're flirting close to it. Okay, we're going to get in. There's some good signs on the short-term chart that I'm going to get into, but right now we got a lot of pressure that's happening with IBIT, and I'll go over that with you. Also, Nvidia and AMD, they're facing some struggles. So that's actually putting more pressure on Bitcoin, and we have the potential that we could revisit these levels. Now, I'm only going to mention this 3 times, promise, in the video. You got to be prepared for what happens if. You got to be running what if scenarios. What if we go into 97,000? What if we go into 92.4? What if we're threatening 90,000? You need to know those scenarios. You need to have a game plan. So I'm suggesting that you join our pro group. We will help guide you through it. Okay? And that's all I'm going to say about it. Other than the fact that we got some really good altcoins that we're looking at where we can see some real potential in. But if this occurs, this could be a classic retest pattern that we're seeing right now. Now, I'm going to get into the short term, because this is not, it's not happening right now. And the most important level on the chart right now is this. We got 99,250 on Bitcoin CME futures, right? So if we come over to good old Bitcoin itself, the 2-hour chart, where we get the live stuff, we got the point right down here at 99,000. Okay, that is a very, very important point. So we're going to do some chart work from here. Yesterday, I told you we needed to get over 102. We did. We needed to get over 103.6. We popped through it. But again, resistance hit, but structure holding. So it looks good. All right. In other words, okay, it's not fantastic, but it's better than this bottom being broken and us testing this lower 98 right now. So as it stands right now, Bitcoin's in a holding pattern. Okay, and that's all we could say about it, unfortunately. There's not really much to say. But the levels are the same, all right? We need to get over 103. We need to hold that. And I wouldn't mind so much if we traded between, say, like if we can get above this 103, right, and then pop back down and then test this level, that's good. Okay, so if we stay here, and then we can get basically above like 105. But the most important level to get above is this level right there, the 106, 107. That's the level that we have to recover over. If not, we're going to be threatening that CME market gap. So I'm telling you, got to be prepared for it. All right. And as I said, if we break 90, the double top is confirmed. Not good. It means we're heading lower. Okay. Is it the end of the world? Nobody really likes, I mean, you can make just as much money in a bear market as you can in a bull market, but everybody likes to see Bitcoin rallying, right? I mean, that's just the consensus of retail. But really, if you do the right thing, being a bear, you can make a tremendous amount of money being short, just as you can make being long, right? So that's why you got to trade it. That's why you need a good coach. So you know what to do. You know who to go for coaching, right? I don't want to say it because I don't want to waste another shot. All right. So if we look at Bitcoin again, like I said, we got to hold the 98. We got to stay above the 102. We're flirting with it right now, and we got to get above 106. That's all I can say about it. Now, if we're going to go into Bitcoin, like an ETF barometer for Bitcoin, we could look at IBIT. All right. And IBIT itself is recovering off of a key technical level of $56, $57 right here. Okay. It's recovered off of it. It has to hold this line. If IBIT can't hold this line, it's being a parameter. In other words, it is reacting off of Bitcoin. However, it sometimes can take the lead. So if you start seeing IBIT tick up, in other words, what's going on is the BlackRock community, the gateway to Wall Street, the Wall Street gateway to crypto. This is what IBIT is. All right, it's BlackRock Spot ETF. It's Wall Street's gateway to crypto. If you start seeing this tick up and Bitcoin is stable, Bitcoin's going to pop because that means IBIT is actually going out and pulling in more capital. So what are they going to do? They're going to buy more. They're going to buy more Bitcoin. They're going to, and that's going to pop. Now we got to get over 60, and we got to recover over 62. A recovery over 62 is going to give us a pop up to 65, 66. That would be good for Bitcoin. That would put Bitcoin probably back at 107, 108. All right. Now, there's another thing. There's another series of events that is happening in the marketplace right now. So we got to look at like the tech backdrop here. While crypto bleeds, there's a parallel story playing out in technical stocks. I'm going to take you over to Nvidia. Okay, this play is like so weird that's happening right now. It's classic, right? The unexpected, the expected rarely happens. The unexpected constantly occurs. Nvidia hits $5 trillion valuation, the first company ever to do it. But the chart is showing fatigue. We got traders taking profits after an insane AI run. Revenue was up 69% year on year, yet guidance all of a sudden became cautious. The macro read, like even the strongest growth stories are slowing, and that's what's happening right now. So the most important point in Nvidia, and I'm not using them. We don't trade Nvidia, but really, what this is, the backdrop for what's going on, because Bitcoin trades like this. Okay, it trades very similar to these high beta yielding AI stocks. It's got to hold 190. Okay, it has to hold 190. If it breaks 190, we're drifting down to like 185. We drift down to 185, you can be sure that we are going to be in this market gap. I don't know why I went over to my YouTube. We'll be into either one of these markets. We'll actually probably be closer to the 93,000 at that point. So we got to keep our eyes on that. All right. Now, we got AMD, which is, a very close related cousin to Nvidia. Now, you say, Tom, we're talking about crypto here. Why are you talking about like tech stocks? Because I told you in the previous videos, it's important to keep an eye on these things because Bitcoin follows these things. Bitcoin reacts, is very sensitive to these things. So if I look at AMD, right, and I'm looking at the chart, right, look at this huge gap. This was everybody going Santa rally, jingle bells, jingle all that going. What happened? One of the reindeer got shot in midair. Flying over a difficult airspace. So therefore, look what happened. It is sitting really right now at its main. It's a very, very important support. Very, very, very important support point. Okay, important. If we lose the 240, we're looking at 235. That's what we're looking at. Again, that would also be saying that Bitcoin is pushing down into the $95,000, $96,000 level. So that's why I want you to pay attention to it. So right now, AMD actually, we got to keep an eye on NVIDIA and AMD because these are cross-market tells. If they stabilize, risk appetite can return across the board, including, Bitcoin and then Ethereum if we see the recovery in the tech. Now, if we start to see the recovery in the tech stocks, we got something that's interesting. We got one of the most important little indicators on Bitcoin. This is a monthly chart, so take that into consideration. Monthly charts actually could have some wild swings. We could go down to 90,000. This is still in play, but really, one of the most slept on Bitcoin indicators just fired off on the monthlies. Now, there's no hype, there's no euphoria. It's just quiet. It's a quiet confirmation that the structure precedes every vertical run. Now, the big boys are getting positioned for this. That's why I'm saying the question is, if we dip down, do you have a plan? You got to have a plan if we're going into these ugly levels. Okay? You got to have a trading plan. You need a coach. So, what do you got to do? Got to get into our pro group. All right? Because also, we're going to be talking about good utility coins in there. They're bringing some really good points up about utility coins. It's a big chance making some big money on either side, and we'll be going over that. So right now, like if we looked at this indicator, it's actually saying that it's consolidating for a pump. Look, it is what it is. That's what it's saying. Okay, so the rest are going to chase candles in the long run because you got to be in the train before the train moves. You can't just succumb to like what's happening. Like, oh my goodness, it's going down. I'm selling. And then the market starts rallying up and you're like, oh my goodness, I got to get long this thing. And of course you get long at the worst possible time when the market gets a retrace. And then, you puke position again. So that's why I'm saying, be prepared on either way because we think that in the long run, the parabolic phase is loading up. Now let's move on over to Ethereum because Ethereum's in a boatload of like doo-doo right now. So we check out Ethereum right here. It's under heavy pressure. Some analysts, and I don't agree with them, they're calling for the 50% drawdown in the worst case washout scenario. Now we're sitting right at 3,355. Okay. The line in the sand is really like the 3,300. Or else if we lose it, we got the next structural support. Doesn't show up until like 3,000, 2,800. Now, I said if we lost the 3,600, we'd be looking for the next structural supports on this thing. We lost it. Now, we're closely recovering it. If we can recover 3,600, 3,800, good shape. Okay, we're going to see the breakout. Now, we know Ethereum overall is going much higher. Okay, but we got to be patient. The market's the market. We can't force the market to do what it doesn't want to do when it doesn't want to do it. All right, so Ethereum really isn't broken. We look at Ethereum, it's repricing for like say new leadership. Let's put it this way, because DeFi volumes are stabilizing, L2 fees are compressing, so it's a fundamental cooling off, not a blow off. That's not crashing. So Ethereum being off is being off 16% in the last 48 hours. But this on the monthly is one of the most bullish structures that we've seen. It's a perfect pennant. It's a monthly compression. Retail will buy the breakout, but smart money is already trying to grab some. Look, if you got deep pockets and you can go down 2,800, 3,300, it's not a big deal, right? But so you buy like 1/3 your position. You slip down a little bit lower, you take on another 1/3. Now I'm not suggesting to do that. I'm just saying overall, big guns can do that. They start averaging in. Like because we think this. Of course, they have a stop loss. They'll probably puke if it breaks 1,500. Something like that. But anyway, this is like the most bullish structure we see on Ethereum in a while. So if it happens, the breakout's not going to be slow. All right, and it will be vertical. It's going to be violent, and it will be an unforgettable rally because we'll be talking about it. We'll be saying, remember when Ethereum was 3,280 and everybody thought it was falling out of bed, and then we stabilized at 3,300 and we broke 3,600. You know the story. But really, if I look at Ethereum itself, I could say this about it. And it's a weekly trend line. Okay, this is a weekly trend line. Ethereum touched this trend line 5 times since 2021. Each time triggered a major rally from this point. Will this time be different? Or is this a bear trap that's already closing? This is what happened the last time. And look at the movement that we had, the breakout new highs. So we're just waiting for it. We're stalking Ethereum. Okay, we're not staking, we're stalking it. We're looking to get involved in Ethereum as best as we can. So again, consider come on over, hanging out with us. All right, so let's look at Bitcoin dominance. Now this thing is another animal. We know that altcoins like strive when Bitcoin dominance dies. Bitcoin dominance is sitting at 61 right now. We know that the structure was broken. We're coming up and retesting the old support line. We're retesting it right now. So it's a moment that a lot of people ignore. But, we just got to pay attention because this is where the breakout begins. Okay, so smart money starts to rotate early. Now we got to look at other things that are happening in the marketplace right now. But the fire's lit. The breakout's only a matter of time. And now, as of now, all kinds are bleeding hard. They're bleeding hard. The usual leveraged longs are getting liquidated out of the system. More than 1 billion got taken out. Okay, so if we look at the altcoin market itself, right? It's really what institutional shakeout looks like. I mean, look, the fear and greed index, we're going to zero, we're going to zero, we're going to zero. Same thing, It's high leverage, low patience, and algorithms are forcing emotional traders out of the game. Now, as I said, we're talking about some serious specific alts in our group. Like we got XRP on our radar, we got HBAR on our radar, a few others. So, get in on the action, man. There's going to be some money to be made. All right. So, as for altcoins, it's the classic three, the big three, high beta names: Solana, AVAX, Doge. They're down 15 to 20% right now. Now, RSI readings are sub 30 across all the majors. So it's where the opportunity hides, once Bitcoin starts to stabilize. So the key takeaway is right now, the key takeaway is don't chase bottoms. Identify the structure. Wait for the confirmation and let the market prove it's done punishing all the traders out there. Now, just hold fast. I mean, if you look at this chart, hold fast knowing that the market loves to fool us. And the 50 MA is the battlefield. Same overall fear triggered the last major rallies that occurred. So the message hasn't changed, all right? You just got to really hang tight, get in with a good group, and, we'll help you out. All right, so now also, we got the DAX, right? The dollar index. It's squeezing liquidity globally. That's why Bitcoin dips when the dollar rips. So we got to keep an eye on that right now. If I look at good old dollar yen, what's dollar yen doing right now? Dollar yen's kind of cooled off a little bit, and that's been the major driver. Dollar yen has really been the major driver because the euro and the cable are kind of stuck right now, and not really much is happening right now in those. So dollar yen is the driver. If dollar yen breaks down, starts breaking down hard, that'll actually take the US dollar index down. That could also add some fuel to Bitcoin. All right, so before we wrap up, how do you get into this group that I keep talking about? Well, how do you do it? Well, you come on over. The link is in the description. You click this link right here. We're taking over our Telegram trading community. Completely free to join. We drop insane alpha trading opportunities daily in this group. Hey, if you're a lone wolf and you want to go it alone, we offer 2 outstanding brokers. We offer WeX, low fees, fast execution. Same thing with BTCC. I believe WeX is offering no fees for life right now. When we got Bitcoin, BTCC is offering a $500 US dollar token giveaway. Help those small accounts out. If you got $1,000 to trade with, we give you an extra 500. It's a 50% increase. Can't beat that. But what I really suggest, you come on over and you join our pro group. Level up your trading, okay? Stack the profits, the stories together, get in on the action. It's a lot of fun. All right, so as we wrap up for today, all right, and what do we got to be on the lookout for? What's the final thoughts? Well, what's driving it? Well, we got leverage and liquidations. Futures positions got way too one-sided, and the unwind is in Ethereum and also in Bitcoin. Okay, ETF flows. We're seeing some short-term outflows in Bitcoin. That's what you're seeing right here in the IBIT. All right. We got stocks that are soft, right? Nvidia, we got AMD, both soft. Okay, we got technical damage because Bitcoin cracked 100,000 and Ethereum broke 3,600. So that alone triggers some pragmatic selling right now. Program selling. Okay, let's straighten it out. So right now, what we have to do is we need short-term discipline inside a long-term, framework. So plan like investors, execute like traders. Make sure you come on over here and follow us on X, where we talk about Bitcoin, crypto, all day, every day. So what's the message today? Bitcoin's testing conviction. It's not ending a cycle. CME gaps 97, 92 could mark the final flush before the big next leg up or a deeper correction. Ethereum, stress testing structure. Altcoins resetting, and AI trade is cooling. All part of macro rotation. Stay calm, stay structured, treat every dollar like it's a soldier. Deploy it only when the terrain is favorable. And remember, trade with your head, not over it. Do your own research because, as you know, I am not a financial advisor. I'm a trader like you. And as a short term trader, enjoy the party, but dance near the door. Stay profitable. I'll see you tomorrow. Cheers.